subscribe, love, like. We're sponsored by the Spunk Lube and rebroadcast by the Demon Seed Radio Network. We could not do any of this without you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please give us that bump. All right, Porn Stars, our People Podcast. I'm Dan Frigolette. I'm here with Sheena Rose.
Hey.
So we have more rapport than I usually have with a first time guest because we did a comedy show last night. So I'm gonna ask this without it being a problem. But okay, why is it? And I haven't gotten a good answer for this. Why is it that every porn name is just one of like a dozen names crammed together in some way? Why did that happen?
You know what? I don't know. But my porn name is my real name, Sheena Rose.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like my real name. No one believes me, and everyone thinks it's not, so I don't care. But if I were to have chosen my real name or a porn name, I wouldn't have chosen Rose or whatever. But what I can tell you, and what I do know, is I heard girls who do Adams, like something Adams, is so they can show up at the top of
that's funny.
Alphabetical order on the porn sites.
That was the original that worked for like when you were doing the yellow pages, but I don't think that's a thing anymore.
No, like when you go to like browsers and you go into like, porn stars, a lot of them have alphabetical order. So
I guess, but you're still looking for the one that you're looking for. But I guess that makes sense.
Or you just want to see which girls are on the site.
Yeah. Why did you roll your eyes at that?
That's not rolling my eyes.
That's okay. So like as a porn consumer, I found more and more throughout my relationship to this industry that my experience with porn is that what I have a preconceived idea of what I'm going for, in a sense, like whatever the void is that I'm trying to fill, and it's not going to be filled by knowing the person. Like I'm going to put whatever it is I need on that person. So then I found when I know the person in real life now, I can't use that person to masturbate because I'm trying to put this other thing on them. And then it's a little creepy jerking off to your actual friends.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. So when I first started in the industry, because I started out my adult career doing mainstream porn, and then I transitioned to camming. But when I was in mainstream porn and I learned the way that porn was shot, I was like, okay, porn is dead for me now. Like,
wait, explain.
I can't get off to a nicely shot porn that is shot by like a multi-billion-dollar company. Like I just can't. I just know too many things that it just ruins it for me. And I never, and I always like really like the amateur real stuff anyway. And so that was like one thing for me. And then it transitioned to, as well as like I couldn't get off if I knew anyone in the scene, because I was just like, oh, that's cool. But it's a little different for me now. That was when I first started. Now I can know someone in the scene and be like,
That's that hot shit that I've experienced. I dig it. I like it.
I love Goth Charlotte, and I've shot a scene with her, and I like kind of know her, and like her pornos are my favorites. So.
I feel really good about the time period that I got in, because I met her right around almost like the week that she might have met Lance. Because I saw like that progression, and knowing them both is really fun, and like and having two completely separate interviews and getting to know both and having them both open up is really cool. It's a weird thing I didn't anticipate, or maybe that's exactly what I anticipated about trying to have a podcast with this group of people.
Man, it's funny because I want to do a podcast so bad.
Okay.
And I just don't know how to do it. And like, it's not that I'm slow or dumb or anything, but like I've literally Googled like how to set up a podcast, and it just seems so like, I just can't figure it out.
You
I
can.
really want to do it, but I can't figure out what the fuck to do.
No, you can figure out what it is. So they want you to have more equipment than you need to do all the things. And it's a lot, and that's where we're at is you're not saying something wrong. It's this weird, like, there's this notion that they're trying to sell gear. So it's like you do the search and then you just see a bunch of stuff and then you get like gear fatigue and then you're like, well, I don't know what to buy. And now it feels like it's a huge fuck up if I buy the wrong stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. And then, like, to put your podcast on whichever platform, like, and then record it on whichever platform, like, I just don't understand. Like, and I need like hands-on training for this.
Yeah.
It's not something that is just like on the internet, you know?
This is episode, it's still running. This is episode 165, I think it's going to be. Yeah. And I don't necessarily know how to do a podcast. So
you have
you're
people
fine.
Sit in with you ever?
Say again?
Do you have people sit in with you?
Like, do I have like a producer or do I do these live in person?
Like a guest.
Like, oh, with me and then the other person? No, mostly because of my lifestyle. The format doesn't make sense. So originally when I started, I was like, okay, cool. People will come to New York, they'll go to Sapphire, and then they'll want to do my podcast. That's never going to happen. So I decided that I got to go chase people at AVN. So then I just got to go to AVN, like, try to book gigs in and around those conferences, or like I did last year, just write the show and host one of the things so that I'm like there. But then that was kind of a fuck up too, because that made it also harder to get as many interviews in as I wanted to. So then I would have to add another person to that, and I don't know how to do that. So no, and so I don't know what that format would look like either. It would be hard because it would feel like somebody's taking sides, and either me, the comedian, will get like sensitive, or the porn star will get sensitive.
Yeah,
because you're like, to be honest, your group of people, for everything that you guys are not shy about, for some reason they're like, oh, we gotta like talk for like 30 minutes, I don't know, and then it's like a lot of like bail last minute because they're not sure if somebody's going to try to embarrass them. So it's like,
yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's like the thing is, like, sometimes you just don't know, like, mainstream stuff. Like, you don't know, like, their intentions. Like, you could think that, okay, well, I'm going to be doing this interview, or I'm going to be doing this TV show or something for this people, and they're going to make it, like, you know, real sex positive and everything's going to be cool, and then it's going to end up like Hot Girls Wanted on Netflix and, like, just make our industry look like trash, you know? So you never know.
Yeah. And that's the opposite vibe that's the reason why this podcast exists, because I was on a podcast and I thought it was going fine, and I was on as the comedian, but they were doing that thing where they're just like, everything that they throw to you has to be in some kind of joke format, even though the show's not a joke show or a funny, like, they're not funny, but you got to do all the funny heavy lifting, but they don't know how to set you up to be funny. And then they'll have a porn star on and they'll just be like, hey, and they'll just say a bunch of explicit shit that I don't think is that interesting. And then it just feels gross. So that was like, whatever a podcast is, this one's going to be not that.
Yeah.
So,
I feel it.
So you told me before, you told me yesterday about an experience where you had, where you were in a scene and something went wrong, that it kind of like ruined the scene. And you had to take a TO.
Yeah, when my earplug fell out and it smelled so bad.
Yeah.
It smelled terrible. Oh my God. Like, if you ever just like get close to someone, like cool enough with someone who has really big gauges, just ask them to smell their gauge one day and you'll know what I'm talking about. It smells so bad.
Okay, on a spectrum. So like we all kind of know what scratching your butthole and sniffing your finger smells like, right? We all kind of know. So like that's on the scale. And then, do you know, like, have you ever smelled your plaque, like on the floss?
No.
You smelled your hands after you floss? That's all. That should be on the scale, because that's rancid. And then
No.
so like, where is it in that spectrum? Like, what is it reminiscent of?
I would
Like,
say,
from dead body to like a little bit of poo.
Okay. Have you ever smelled like a shitload of cream pies and a pussy that's been left in the pussy for too long? Like you haven't cleaned out your cum out of the pussy?
Like multiple dudes, like, or just one
I mean, it
person's
could just be
cum.
one dude, yeah, just like one guy, and you get nutted in like a couple times, and
What's
then
so
you.
funny is I'm so anti my own cum that I so get where you're coming from. Like
Well,
it's like
I mean, like it's only when you leave it in for like a long time, and then it gives like this wet cat food almost type
right.
of smell, like a wet cat food mixed in with hair extension glue, and that's kind of what plugs smell like.
Okay, well, you have a very you have what do they say, like a very keen palate, but you have a very keen nose apparently, because this is your
Is that Italian Jew nose? Jew.
like I think fireworks are about to happen. Uh, that's funny.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
was
No,
that
but it smells really bad. And you know, if you keep them clean, or if you use like wooden earrings, or I've heard that certain things like will like make the smell better. But at that time when I had that scene,
so is it like
not
is it
smell good.
is it wet? Is there a
Yeah,
residue?
it's
Is
like
it
wet. It's like wet and like kind of infected and like crusty. And sometimes like my ears would swell up inside of like the gauge, and they would like swell over. And mind you, I had my ears stretched since I was 14 years old, and this was still happening when I was
yeah.
like 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
And they were just like, they just never heal. They just constantly are like pussing. And so that's why I'm getting them sewn up in 9 days.
Yeah. I like that you have
I
like
haven't worn earrings in them in like 3 years.
I like that you have one of those rip-off calendars like they do at Christmas. You're like, it's in 9 days. I can see it on this on the wall.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's how I feel, man. Like I'm
The
so excited about it. I'm kind of low key mad because I feel like they kind of like when you want this reconstructive surgery on your ears, I feel personally like it's overpriced as fuck. It's a 30-minute total procedure. All
right.
they do is shoot some fucking numbing
Um,
shit in your ear, and then they cut and sew, and it's like literally so quick and fast. And I could not find it anywhere under $2,000, and I was like,
that's a
this
lot.
is a ripoff. Like I don't want to pay $2,000 for this. And then I found a doctor who's really really good, and he'll do it for me for 1,400. So whatever.
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
little discount. I like that. How much are boobs these days? Like I like two like that's a lot of money. That's
Boobies.
yeah, how much is that boob? How much is one boob?
I guess like one boob. I guess like honestly, I really don't know how much titties are these days. For like my whole, I'm so back and forth with tits, man. It kills me because here's the thing. Like I have perfect breasts. I don't know if you've seen my Twitter, but I do, and they are perfectly small. They're like perfectly shaped, and they're just perfect, but they're perfectly small.
Whoever was listening or watching is right now Googling.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, they are though. They're perfect, but they're just small. And so my whole life I thought like, okay, in order to have like the perfect titties, you need them to be big. And then I was really happy that I never got a boob job. I'm like, oh, my titties are so great, I love them. But still to this day, I fight with myself with it. I'm like,
No,
shit.
small's the way to go. Just because there is an option doesn't make that option like
Right.
correct. And the
Totally.
industry has adjusted to the fact that the Pam Anderson look, we loved it. We loved it. And we had that period of time, but that Pam Anderson look is mostly gone. And you know, and then because now it's like, because now you have to go, if you go boob, you got to go butt. Then you go, so now your
Yeah,
butt,
and that's
your
the thing is
boob,
I
and
have to work out extra hard to gain that little booty, or get like some type of filler in my booty just to
yeah,
pop it up. And
right.
like, yeah, that's the thing, like with the titties though. Like with me, if like I watched a lot of Botched, and I think that if I ruined my tits, or if one of them got really hard, or if just something happened where they just weren't perfect, I
Yeah,
could never forgive myself because I already know that I started with perfect
yeah,
tits. So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I go back and forth so much with it, man. But I do have a doctor picked out if I
That's funny.
want to get
No,
them done.
whatever you've built, whatever people are into, whatever is working, that's working for a reason. We don't want you to change. Like that's that as from a consumer perspective, when my favorite people make a change, I feel betrayed. Like
But
I've never
what
been
if
in,
that
and never.
change gained a bigger fan base? Like, what if that change, like, okay, like,
More important, keeping your loyal
example,
people, or just
Rose was already super famous and beautiful and like so gorgeous, natural, but then she got her ass done and she got her tits done, and she may have lost some fans because of it, because people liked her natural. But look at her now.
I
Now
don't know.
she's like,
This is funny because this is like the weird when did your band sell out conversation. It's like when did
exactly.
your favorite
It's
porn star
okay to
sell
lose
out?
a couple fans as long as you fucking hit the big bugs.
Right. I guess that's true. From your side of the table, I get where you're coming from, but take mine into perspective. If you're able to get as far as you've gotten so far, then there is a tit for every man, or there is a man for every tit, whichever way you want to say that. No, and I think we're in a place, because you like the like amateur thing. We're in this place where like there's the consumer end of it kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm saying something, and as I'm saying it, I lose faith in it. But I think we want to continue to like watch what we think we can attain, right? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we only want to watch shit that will never be near.
What, for you being a consumer, what's your like thing? Like, what's your like? What do you like? What's your go-to? What do you Google? You
So
know,
because of
whose OnlyFans do you have a subscription to?
yeah, so because of the industry thing now, but also, and because of what I said before, that I was always just putting stuff on. I was doing this porn star doppelganger thing for a while, where like if I like couldn't make a relationship work, and this was my growth, was I would just find a porn star that vaguely looked like one of my exes, and then in my head, like I dated Rachel Rocks for a while, because that's what my one girlfriend looked like for like a year and a half. We couldn't figure it out, and then in my head, like actual
Though
what's that?
that's like kind of sad.
It's not
Like,
sad. Why is that sad?
because I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like you're making up someone to fill a void for you.
Oh,
Like,
it's,
okay.
I don't think it's sad. You could say it's creepy with that logic, but you also could say that it's very grown up, but it is also dude gross, because it's like the only thing I want to keep is the sex, is the pussy, is the thing, right? So it's kind of gross. It's kind of like toxic masculinity in a way, but it is a little bit nostalgic and cute also.
No, I get that. I've actually on my webcam, because I cam, fucking every night.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of guys who come in and tell me I look like their wife or their wife's sister or their girlfriend, their ex-girlfriend or whatever, and they like want me to be that person.
Yeah.
And it's like they're holding on to whatever, or I look like their sister, like
Well,
that's
but
always
there's always gonna be a piece of that's why it works.
my laptop was dying, but now I'm plugging it in, so it's not anymore.
Because the thing, what's the best way to say it? The best way I've said it, and this makes its way into my comedy in this sort of form, is the idea that like your heart is also a muscle, and there's a muscle memory. So a lot of times you're attracted to something, you don't know why. Sometimes you get too far, and it's the toxicity that you were like into before. It's the shit that didn't work for you, but that excited you, and you're back in that relationship again. So we don't always know why something catches our eye or why we're into it, and we're very visceral in the way that as humans we want to try and figure it out. So sometimes it'll be a long time, and we'll figure it out later that, oh, you look like my sister, maybe that's what it is. So I gotta do a deep dive, and now I gotta like do some internal work, or maybe we know right out of the gate. I don't know, it depends on what type of person it is, but
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like,
I don't know.
like, I want to bang you.
Yeah, the why. Yeah, well, like the why shouldn't matter that much, especially for the thing. So how do you? I guess I've never really figured this part out, and this could be a thing I could take a lesson from your industry. How do you? Like, as a comedian, we're very sensitive, so we just take everything personal. So like we don't necessarily want to play, and this isn't for everybody, because successful people for sure do this thing, but we don't want to like play to the audience or like placate to their self-esteems. But like, how do you? I guess I lost the question in the thing. How do you like? yeah, how do you play to the audience in the comment section of and in the chat section of the thing so that it's like you're giving so much of yourself that you're almost that the whole thing is almost selfless and for them?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. It's like kind of hard actually because I think that everyone is really different. And when I am in my webcam room and like people come in, I'm just like, hi, and I say hi and I welcome everybody and I just like, I talk to everybody. But I don't know, I guess I just kind of always had been that person where like silence bothers me. So no matter what, I'm going to be talking to someone, like whether it's the person who's just tipping me or the person in the show or whatever. And then I find out what they like and their kink. And I don't know. I don't know. I have no trouble with that. I have no trouble making it all about like one person or one thing, just because like silence and like not communicating and stuff really bothers me.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's like a communication thing. If you're not going to talk to me and you're not going to tell me what you like or what you want, and like shit's going to be whack. It's going to be boring. It's going to
Sure.
suck.
Well,
My least favorite thing in the world is probably boring sex, where it's like no one's saying anything, no one's doing anything, no, like
yeah.
no one's like making even a noise.
Yeah, at this age, I can't do it. I like the consensual, like egging on part of sex is the whole thing. So if there's even like the slightest disconnect, I go deep into my head about like why, what could this, is this the end of everything? Like, is this right now? Is this temporary? Is this just this moment? And then all of that, I just lose
You're
the.
like a real emotional guy. Do you like, because I heard last night you said something. You said that you're really talented at making 10-year relationships in 6 months. Is that because of you?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm able to.
Like you're like super emotional, like you get this girl and you're just like, I fucking love you like the first week, and like you're already like planning out the marriage, and then maybe one day she's like PMSing and she don't want to be near you, she's like, get the fuck away from me, and then you're like in your head, oh no, what am I gonna do? Is that you?
No, I want you to keep going with the like not the analogy, but the what's the analysis. No, I have figured out, I did say last night, maybe, I don't know if it was in our show, I figured out that honesty, I figured out how to actually access honesty. I spent childhood like most people and a fair amount of my 20s thinking that honesty was not how you're supposed to be. Although some elements of honest. What's that?
That's really weird. Did your
What?
therapist tell you why?
Did my therapist tell me? I'm going to therapist, but you think people are honest out there in the world regularly?
I am very fucking blunt and honest, and I always have been, and
Right.
I have always been taken as either mean or narcissistic
Sure.
or however the fuck, but I've always just been like too honest, too
Right.
blunt. Like,
So remove me and you.
anyway, and I'm telling her
Yeah.
if that's like not what she wants to do. I'm not gonna be an asshole, but like
Yeah.
if
Remove
I
me.
know my friend doesn't want to gain weight and she is, I'm gonna tell her.
Remove me and you from the thing, because so let's say we're the outliers, right? Like even the way dating is now, it's people are ghosting. That's the move when you're done with somebody. There's no actual like sit down, say the things, and then you're done. So every part of life is some version of like, well, I didn't, that wasn't that wasn't a lie, I didn't need to tell him that. Like omission is truth for some reason. Like, why do I need to say that? He doesn't need to know everything. Like everybody's doing everything behind everyone's back, and they're wondering why you're not getting a deeper, more incredible connection. It's because you're all full of shit and you're all trying to be the best you, and it's not who you are. And so the pieces are missing. It's all misfires. And then at the end of the day, you like blame the universe or some inalienable like thing that you have or they have that couldn't somehow work it out, when all you had to do was be honest. So to answer your question in the longest way possible, I think people meet me I have figured out how to be happy, doing what I love. I'll meet people a lot of times because I'm touring as a comedian all the time. So I'm just happy. I'm on stage all the time. It's like I've got my dog. I'm touring. I'm doing all the things. Um, and I'm drinking coffee. I'm eating, I'm eating steaks. I'm eating barbecue. That was my life. I'm eating barbecue. Drinking coffee, and I'm doing comedy, and I'm going on hikes with my dog. That's a fantastic. I figured it out. And
That's
so I meet somebody. I'm honest. I'm the person I say I am. And then we can access a level of intimacy that maybe they aren't used to, might be scared of, have never seen, or it have seen and it went south. I don't know. So, yeah. So all the things, all the guarded parts of the relationship are removed when you add me to it. And
well,
I'm not saying I'm doing it right.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's pretty good. I think that's an awesome thing. And I think that nowadays with the relationships, that's like the problem is like, man, that's why, like, truly, man, I would just be like, if I were to go back inside the dating pool, I don't think I would. Like,
What are you? Are
I
you married? Or are you, what's your thing?
yeah, I mean, I'm full on committed. I've been with the same person for a little bit over 6 years now, and it's like they're awesome and they're great, and I like they're the person like that I want and need to be with. Any other type of person would just fucking suck. And so that's why I'm saying, like, if we didn't work out, it would be so hard to find someone who is like as honest as they are, who doesn't entertain anybody, who's completely 100% okay with what I do and supports me and backs me up for it. Like, I just know a lot of girls who do date and like they just date such fucking assholes, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that, because the last thing that I want is for me to cam and then me get off work and then the guy just be like, so who the fuck were you talking to all night? And like, give me a problem about my job. Like, and that for a sex worker, unfortunately, that's like the thing you have to worry about when you date people.
Comedians too. Like so what happens is whatever way you met your person, even if it was like a little bit slutty on either of your parts, what happens is later on that person just thinks that slutty great scenario that you got together in is how it'll always go. So if I met a girl at a show, then she's going to assume that I meet every girl at every show, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. If you were a rapper, it'd be the same thing. If I'm a video vixen and I meet my boyfriend on his music video set, I'm gonna be on every music video set.
I don't believe. Okay, so I don't believe in that. That's where we differ. I don't believe in the possessive part of love.
Well, yeah, I don't think you should do that. But like mentally,
no, I'm with you. But so like I accepted a long time ago that if someone is going to do that thing to me, they're going to do it no matter how many rules I make, no matter how many times I'm around, and in a sense, the more hostile and rigid I am about it, the more they're going to build it up in their mind as this taboo that actually needs to be accomplished, and maybe use it as a tool in their head that is somehow like against me, as opposed to doing it for themselves, which I don't want to be on either end of it. So I've been like not fragile to being cheated on for the last couple relationships.
Oh man, I see. Like for me, it's like you're totally right. Like they're gonna do it regardless. But for me, the honesty thing comes back into it. Like if I feel like you have been lying, if I feel like you have been playing me for being stupid, like that's my thing, is don't fucking play me to be out stupid, because that's
Right.
how you're gonna end up being like killed in your sleep. So it's just like, I just don't want the lies. Like
Yeah.
if my person went and cheated on me, right, and they made the mistake, but they came home and was like, this is what I did and this is what happened, I could fucking respect that. Like I could be like, okay, let's work through this.
Yeah, I don't want to have to dig and confront you and then deal with it. But also the other thing is like the timeliness of the truth is important, because you can feel before it's gonna happen most of the time. You can feel after it's happened most of the time.
Do you date comedians?
What's that?
Do you date
Never.
like other comedians?
Never. I don't believe in dating the like person anyway. Also, it's like with my lifestyle, the option then would only be that I would end up dating my opener. And again, like that's just so much trouble. That would be so much trouble.
Really? I mean, you can't just have like your girlfriend, comedian lady, like just go on tour with you or come visit you at certain cities or whatever.
I'm sure there's a version, and plenty of people do it. I'm sure there's a version of my life somewhere where it's the right person and it's the right circumstance, and they are a comedian, and we're open with the audience about that. Hey, did you like my girlfriend? Hey, my boyfriend's coming on. Like, there's a version of that. My husband, wife, whatever. There's a version of that. But so far, I'm not seeing it, and I've never really been in an experience with another comedian, man or woman, where I was like, I should fuck this person.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I totally agree. Because that's like kind of with me. I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't date anybody in my industry, but I kind of like normal dudes. I mean, not, I don't know. Like, I did, when I first got into porn, I first got into mainstream porn, I dated this guy named John for like 6 months or 5 or 6 months. And he was cool and everything. But to be honest, we were both doing porn and we were fucking other people more than we were fucking each other. And
right.
He spent like 90% of our relationship out of the country filming porn for like other countries and stuff. So I was just like, okay, whatever, it's fine. But like, I don't know, like if I were to do it all over again, I don't think I would date in within my industry either.
Yeah.
I would go outside of it.
I think there
was a girl 100% because we could just make money together and travel the world and be
for
super
sure. I think there's a version of like an adjacent profession to whatever the one you're doing. That's about as close as it should be. Like you, like the person like can produce a tour, and then and you're the thing who would be on the tour. That makes sense, right? Like there's a lot of
yeah,
like
totally.
agent
like you're
comedian.
A photographer and you date your makeup artist.
Sure.
Yeah,
There's a lot of that
because then like my partner, he doesn't perform, but he does like all my behind the scenes shit.
Right. So there's that stuff where it works, because you're actually complementing each other. You're not competing. You're not the same type of weird. That's the thing is I don't believe in the whole being the same type of weird. I actually think I think opposites is how we become better as people. Date an opposite, and then you get more. You like gain complexity as a person. You don't just hone in and become like a one note creature.
And you
have one note children.
Yeah, that makes sense. Will you date men?
No, I was just using that example.
Because I was gonna say if you did, then there's like a lot of options out there for you.
Yeah, I could if I could just fuck everybody, life would be much easier. I don't even know how to lean into that lane. So I have and it came up last night. One of the shows, somebody tried to pretend. You weren't. That wasn't our show. Somebody tried to pretend like I give off gay vibes, which I wish I did. Everything about my life would be a little bit easier if I gave off less toxic masculinity vibes. But this is what I give off.
Italian men are so like arrogant, you know. And I'm not saying that you are, but when an Italian man is confident and has the toxic masculinity, it just comes off as so arrogant and like obnoxious.
It's affected my life more than I ever would have imagined it would have affected my life.
Being a straight white man.
Yeah, because it, and I don't even necessarily read as white to most people, but the thing, like, I don't know. I've been playing with this line, but there really is this vibe of like when somebody meets me, they immediately start worrying that I'm going to fuck their daughter, whether or not they have kids. And so there's like, I just give off that vibe to them. And I don't know, like if I could figure out how to be like right now, especially in entertainment, what is hot is like, what are we looking at? Which thing He could be all the things. That's where you want to be. Like, I want to be halfway between man and woman. I want to be halfway between gay and straight. I want to be halfway between white and black. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's the sweet spot right now, because then everybody goes, I can relate to what you're saying. And they don't immediately dismiss you from an entertainment perspective that I could never feel the way that guy feels about a thing.
Exactly. Yep. And that's true. And as a you're right. You don't read as white to a lot, because like last night before the guy Adam had mentioned that you were Italian, I thought you were Middle Eastern.
Right. Yeah. Especially with this cut. Yeah.
Is it the beard?
I think it's the beard. I'm generally pretty brown. I like
Well, Italians brown quite easily. I mean, I'm a few days out of the bed, but like I tan real easily.
I'm the darkest of my family, and I haven't seen the sun this summer, so this is just what it looks like all the time. No, so I have a weird thing where I am whatever group. So like if white people think I'm Spanish, when I meet Spanish people, they don't think I'm them. They think I'm whatever. Like everybody thinks I'm another thing that they're not. Does that make sense? Like nobody ever looks at me and goes, we're the same. Like I claim that. Everybody always thinks I'm in some other group. So whatever group it is, cause like you think Middle Easterns, like I like Middle Eastern, but then I meet a Middle Eastern and they go, well, you're not us. Like,
right. That's funny. Yeah, no, it's funny that you say that. But when I have like a little bit more of a tan, but not even really, like just a little bit more of an olive tone complexion, I have ran across Middle Eastern men who have asked me if I was Middle Eastern and married many times. And this isn't my original nose, so maybe with my real nose that I was born with, I look more prominently Middle Eastern, even though like to me and to probably a ton of other people I fucking don't, but I have gotten that.
We're all you said you're half Jewish. We're all right there. You could be Israeli right now. Like I know Israelis that are you without hair dye and tattoos. You know what I mean? Like you're right there. You're right there.
Yeah, like my mom is Jewish, my dad's Italian, and that's what I was telling you last night about like how I just got this 23andMe, and I was like, I'm just so nervous kind of to get my results because I am going to feel like such a fraud. They come in 2 to 3 weeks, but the thing, like when I'm watching these 23andMe's on YouTube with white people, with other white people who.
What is it, like a reveal? People do reveals?
Yeah, people do reviews of what they are. And then, so I was like watching a lot of them, and I was watching a lot of white people's and like Scandinavians and fucking Italian people and stuff. And I did see this one Italian kid who was like, I'm 100% Italian. He's from New York. Everyone he knows in his family's from Italy. Like, and he's 100% Italian.
Right.
And then he gets the results back, and he's 80% Italian, which is pretty much what the fuck he is.
Same thing, right?
Like, that's it. Like, you're Italian. You're 80%. That's you. But then the other things that he was like Greek, which is right next to Italy. So it makes sense,
Yeah.
And so, but all the other white people are like lied to. And I just don't want to be lied to. Like, I know that my great-grandfather was a Czechoslovakian Jew, so European Jew. And he came from Czechoslovakia. So I know this, and then I know that my dad's grandparents did come from Italy. And then, my dad was raised as an Italian man, and my mom was raised as a Jewish girl. So here I am. But if I was lied to, I just don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know why that matters.
Because it's like you tell people your whole life, like, I'm this, I'm that. And like, and if I were to be like British or German or like, I don't doubt that I have British.
It's not like you're finding out that your dad is not your dad, right? Like it's not the same.
Imagine if I did. I'm just kidding. No, I've seen that on YouTube though. Like someone found out that their dad wasn't their dad through 23.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why nobody should do these. But no, but then I argue the opposite. Like this should be a game show. Everybody should do these. And then at the end of the day, we got to go, well, look, you're a quarter black. You can't hate black people anymore. Now we're all closer.
So I know this girl in the industry, and I'm not gonna say her name because I don't know if she want this to be private or anything. But I know this girl in the industry.
Just do it in sign language. None of us speak sign language.
That's real. Okay, no, but she thought that her whole life she was like raised by her grandparents or whatever, and she didn't like know her dad or her mom or whatever side of the family, but she was raised by her very Italian grandparents. And this girl has a very brown skin complexion and like really curly hair, but green eyes and, you know, like whatever, it looks white, it looks Italian. She does her 23andMe and it comes out that she's like 45% African. Like she's half black.
Yeah.
She's complete. She's half black.
You can also, but there's also white parts of Africa because every like country going back a certain period of time has some dark, deep shit that never should have happened.
That's true, but I believe hers wasn't like, because you know that would make, I think if I'm not incorrect, so don't quote me, but I think that would mainly be like South Africa.
South Africa one, yeah.
Yeah, and like where she was from, like where she was from, like she realized and found out like she is half black, and it makes sense because her hair is very big and kinky and curly, and she's very brown skinned, but her face was like white features.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like I mean I think that was just so crazy for her because it's like she never knew anyone in her family. She didn't know what to expect, but I guarantee you she was not expecting to be half black. Because if you're half black, you're black. You know, you're mixed. Like in the America and in the world, that's what you are, and that's crazy. Yeah. It ended up being that way because a lot of people are like, I'm 0.5% black, and it's like, honey, that's not good. That's like you being a white person. If you're a white person, and you know you got all this British and Spanish and French in you, and then you got like 0.5 African in you, like that's not good. That means something bad happened.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah, and probably not, and probably, yeah. Well, I won't stipulate any further, but, no, so I think we should all 23andMe are like our children. Then that should be the vibe. It's like, go straight from circumcision to a 23andMe.
You said you were 50% Italian and 50% Italian. So you should do it just to see
funny thing to
like
say.
How much Italian you're like, because if you are 80%, that's what you fucking are. But the other bits of you, it's like, how can you really be 100% Italian?
But it's this thing. But this is why I told this joke. I told the dog joke that I have about the dog DNA test. The point of the joke is not just that it's about dogs. It should be about humans as well. It really is the vibe that it's like it does, like when it's your dog, we don't care because there's no stigma to being another like breed. So it's like they say that your dog is 3% Chihuahua, and if he looks like a Cano Corso and he's got 3% Chihuahua, you're just happy. You're like, oh my God, he's got all this body, but he's got the heart of a warrior, right? Like that's how we should be looking at our 23andMe's, not this other thing. Like it's going the other way. It's like people's reactions are more racist because they're like, oh, that means somebody raped somebody in my ancestry, or like, oh, that means like I could have got like casino money, or I could have got a scholarship, and it's like, get over yourself. Let's all come together as people. One of my favorite comedians.
I just want to know for myself, you know, like just because I am so curious, like I've just always like I don't know, like I just feel like my face is different, and like I said, this isn't my original nose because I got filler in it, so it looks like a little bit different than normal.
Did it have like a hook? Why did you?
Yeah, like I have my natural nose has like a bump right here, and instead of like it going up, it goes down like a little. So I had like a hump and like a little beak. And like, to be honest, a lot of people can't really even tell the difference that I got filler in my nose, but I like it. So whatever.
Well, here's the thing with noses. Noses are gross. I found this out when I was a kid. If you just stare at a grown-up's nose when you're a kid for any period of time, noses are gross no matter what you do. If you look at your nose for too long, it's gross. It's a gross thing. It's made out of cartilage. Ears gross.
Have it.
Noses are gross. You have it. That's what I mean. Like you can't really play with it that much. It's gross no matter what you do to it.
True. No matter.
Okay, wait. So how do we? I want to figure out because this was the thing I had set out to talk to you about because of the whole stanky plugs conversation. What were you calling this version of your mentality at the time? Were you calling it body modification? Were you calling it, because some people call it like shit, what's the word now? Like mutilation, right?
Like self-mutilation.
Sure, yeah. So it's like, what was your thought process in going with plugs? And I guess you're saying now, like you would not have done it.
Yeah. Like when I was younger, like 14, 15, 16, I Well, I just like at the time, I mean, not full on, but like at the time, like shit was still a little taboo, you know, like getting the tattoos and getting plugs and like getting piercings and shit. And so when I was like underage, I was doing a lot of that. I had my septum pierced like 14 to 18 years old, and
Yeah.
I started getting tattooed really young. And now I'm paying the price of covering up my tattoos. For like example, this tattoo that I have right here, this was my very first two tattoos I ever had is under them. This was a rose that said mom and dad, and then this used to be an Italian flag. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
really, really, really ugly. And it was terrible. This one was the first tattoo, and this one was the second tattoo. I got them both at like 16 in the fucking kitchen of someone's house.
Yeah.
And then, so then I get this covered up, and by my tattoo artist, who was like amazing, great fucking artist, because what was there was like trash. And so I paid a lot of money to get that done, and it was the most fucking painful shit in the world. Like, I mean, it's a painful spot anyway, but the fact that it was a cover up and it was like reopening the skin that was already scar tissued made it so much worse. And I went back once a year for 3 years before it was finally finished
Oh,
because I
shit.
was terrified of the pain. So, like, I wish honestly, if I could go back, and I feel lucky that I did take like a 3-year break from tattoos or 4-year break. But if I could go back, I would change everything about what I have.
Sure.
And I would not have anything on my stomach. I wish I'd never tattooed my stomach. And it's going to suck because I'm going to tattoo the whole fucking thing eventually. But I
Yeah.
wish I did.
Well, this is what's interesting. So what the people that choose to do to like cover everything, whatever, they still for some reason they leave the unhighlighted areas. Most people don't get their breasts and their vaginas and their butts tatted. Why is that?
Well, I have my vagina, but
But
it's
not
not
come. But it's not your
it's
whole
not like
vagina.
full vagina piece, right? And I would never. And I just don't think for that. For me, it's pretty. But other girls can totally pull it off.
But
Like I've
why?
seen girls who have like really cool pussy tats and nipple tattoos and.
Yeah, but why is it? What is it that? Why is it that where everything is up for grabs except for breast, pussy, and asses? Why is that?
Only for some people though. Like I mean it is for like a lot of people, but there's so many girls out there that have their asses tattooed, especially like I noticed it's a really big exotic dancer trend these days to get your ass tattooed.
Is that
I
right?
know, yeah, I've seen a lot of dancers with it done in recent times. And I don't know, like I've seen a lot of girls with titties and nipple tattoos. Maybe I follow a lot of alternative girls.
Yeah, well, I mean, me and you, we've seen it all now. But like, I would say, from a
Yeah.
statistical standpoint, right? You got sleeve thing, right? It's like there's an order, right? There's sleeves, and then I guess there's back, and then all of the down the side and the legs, and some people skip the legs.
Yeah.
But the last step will be like neck and tits, and it's because you ran out of space. But no,
That's
like, okay, for example, nobody gets their tits tattooed first. Like
first.
nobody gets spider webs on their tits first tattoo. That's what I'm saying.
That's truth. But you know what? And today in 2020, it's so fucking crazy. But people are getting their face, neck, and hands tattooed first.
Starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That-
is like when I was
how old are
always
you?
under the impression you do that last 28.
Yes, you're 28. So that was ever. So I'm 37. So the vibe was at the time was you can have tattoo. You can be tatted everywhere underneath. You can be business person. Just it's underneath the suit. Then nobody sees it. And now everybody's starting. All the baristas are starting on their hands and working their way up. And then they got nothing underneath the t-shirt. Like they're just forearms, and underneath is just bare boy. It's just that's strange to me.
It's funny. I really have to get the other side right here finished, but I need a break from the pain. So I'm going to start. So if I could go back in time, I would have done everything just super crisp and clean, black and gray, like flowy, smoky, beautiful, like
Yeah.
just super dark. And unfortunately, it's a little too late for some things, but I do have a lot of everything can be that now. So I'm going to go back to this arm, do that, and then I want him to do my chest, and then I want him to fix up this half sleeve here, and then probably start on my back. So like you said, it's like kind of like a pattern. I also want my hands this covered up, and I want like this to be done. So I kind of want to go like back, and then start working on my stomach and legs again. I do want my throat eventually, but I promised my other half I'd get my throat when 99% of my body was already tattooed.
Throat's the last one, right? Like that's the last one.
But I would do it after my chest. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, well, there's so many.
After my sleeve and my chest, I would do my throat.
Yeah, there's so many gorgeous throat tattoos now. There didn't used to be, but there's so many gorgeous women with throat tattoos. It's changing the game, and it's a lot. There's a lot of like extending from the hair to the eyebrows now. Like it's all just creeping in.
Do you have any tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos. I never had like that first thing that I felt like I'm moderation for all the things. Like I don't drink. I don't really do drugs.
I don't drink either or do drugs. I just smoke weed.
I would totally, and I don't really even smoke weed. I'm like a big, like what, like if I go one puff the wrong direction, I get two in my head. So, although I am gonna do mushrooms again in 2 weeks. So
mushrooms. You know what? I was just thinking about this today because I had a feeling that drugs was going to get brought up in our conversation.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to be prepared for what I was going to say.
Do I look like somebody who would do a lot of drugs?
Not at all. But I just, for some reason, I just thought of it. And like,
you thought that I would think that you would do a lot of drugs.
No, but for some reason drugs get brought up. So I was already thinking about it today. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, well, I don't drink alcohol. I've done probably every drug under the sun experimenting, but I just haven't. And it's not even that I'm like sober. You know how people are like, oh, I'm sober. Like, it's not even like that. Like, I mean, maybe I'll take ecstasy if the fucking opportunity is right or whatever, right? But I'm just not into it. But I smoke weed every single day. And I was thinking, well, to me, weed isn't really a drug. And also what is not a drug to me is mushrooms.
Nature shit. Yeah.
Food poisoning. Like, that's all that is. It's just, you just are getting food poisoned. And I have had some of the best experiences of my life on mushrooms.
But you don't get ill. You get the psychedelic. We don't get ill because like there's like ayahuasca where you're shitting and puking in a bucket. Like that's straight up food poisoning.
Yes. And that's a different kind of food poisoning. Yeah. But like the thing is mushrooms are not drugs. Like they just like weed. Like do you call oregano? If oregano got you high, they would call that a drug. Like if fucking parsley got you high, that would be a drug. Hell's bells that grows in the middle of the desert. It's just a flower, but it gets you high, so it's a fucking drug.
Have you done? Isn't there a toad that you can lick? Have you licked the toad?
No, I know. I'm like, honestly, like we were talking about last night, the reason I'm not a big drug person because like the moment that drug hits and sets in, I'm fucked for like the next 15-20 minutes just wondering like, what is this gonna be like? I'm fucking tripping. This is hitting me too hard. What's my night gonna be like? I'm like in my head for the next 20 minutes until the anxiety goes away and I like calm down. Yeah. If I licked a toad, I would be like
I'm that way with everything. I'm realizing like I got sore. I like worked out to the point where I got sore a couple of days ago, and I had an MRI the next day with an IV, and I was even like in my head, I was like, well, that arm's sore, so like use this one. It's like everything that I do.
Men, that's a man thing. Men are really like that. Like you guys are hypochondriacs all the time, overreact all the time. If my brother-in-law fucking sat on Google for like 40 minutes trying to prove to my sister that men get harder flu symptoms than women, and that's why they act like bigger babies. You do not need to really prove this right now. Like it's just, the fact is men are really like that. Like my other half, man, he gets a cramp in his leg and he thinks he has fucking cancer. Like
it really hurts when your leg cramps and you can't stop it. No, so here's what it is. Because
his leg hurts. It's like, stop.
No, here's what it is. Because society has asked us to be the thing that we have to be, and again, now we're realizing it's not good. But it's still there, right? Still, most boys that have become men had a father that told them not to cry, had a father not to act this way, this and that. So it's still hanging around, and it's going to be here for a while. So we still have that. So the couple times we have the excuse to be able to drop it and just act like the equal, let's call it the equal gender, like the equality, that's our moment, that's our gender equality, is I'm gonna cry and curl up in a ball, and I'm gonna rock back and forth, and don't tell anybody, and you can't judge me for it. That's, we need that moment.
Like, I think there's a difference between overreacting on like just it's the simplest, littlest things in the world, and then like showing who you are, your emotions or whatever. Because I personally think that the way to fix a lot of our fucking problems in the world is to raise our men differently.
Sure.
Like,
Well,
a
you
lot
know,
of the
women.
things are, you change this, you change that, let's make this happen, let's that, but it's never let's raise our men to be better men.
Yeah,
And
but
if the world would do that, then this world would probably be better.
it's true, but we don't. The problem is now we're not defining. We're not defining what is good. We're just defining what is bad.
Yeah.
So the fact that there is no counterpart to toxic masculinity is a problem. Like the fact that we're not acknowledging that there is a such thing as toxic femininity is a problem, right? It's like if a woman acts shitty and disrespectful, is she also just being toxic masculine? Like we don't have the counterparts. We're just naming bad things, and
I
we're not looking for a solution. We're just looking for more problems.
Yeah, I understand with that. And that's actually that's very true, because I don't know. I see this all the time, and I actually have this conversation quite often with a lot of different people, and it's like, you'll see a story about I hate to use this analogy because this is the one that's going to pop in everyone's head first, but it's the most common one. Like, you use this analogy of the girls shouldn't wear too short of skirts. Girls shouldn't wear their titties hanging out too, because men can't fight their predatory fire. And it's like, well, maybe because we have allowed men since the beginning of fucking time, since literally men have existed, we have allowed them to rape women, to beat women, to treat women this way and that way, and to only look as women as like sexual objects to breed for you. Maybe this men have not evolved because we have never changed the way men have to be.
No,
So even in 2020, it's like, well, why was she so drunk at the party? Well, why the fuck did we raise a man who doesn't know what consent is?
no. This is the fastest way to get to where you're at, and by law, for most of time, women were property. They were chattel.
Yeah.
And we were trading goods for women. We would buy a woman, or their dad would sell the woman off with, here's a go, like, take her out of here. She's my only commodity. Yeah, my son is valuable. My daughter is something to sell. That's what it's been for a
And
long
the
time.
reason, but see, here's the thing: you think about that. Okay, you think about what you just said. My son has value. My daughter is something for me to sell. Why is your daughter something for you to sell? Why is that? Because a man would love to have a child or a young woman that he can just fuck all the time. And if we didn't just change that, if we just change that circle of men, because I hear this all the time from a man, is we can't change the way we are. This is nature. This is nature for us. We're dogs. We crave pussy. We crave to come. But maybe that you guys are like that because you have evolved to be like that since the fucking caveman days. Like, yeah, women were always property and you buy them because a man wants that. And if we just raise them differently, and we can evolve men to not be such sexual predators.
Yeah, there's certainly an argument there. I like looking at the way groups of animals like facilitate certain aspects. So what's interesting about now I don't remember all of the details that I had pulled out of this experience, but there's something interesting. There's a moment in like a pride, which like female lions are valued so high in the pride. They're the hunters, they're all the things. Basically, all the dudes are like two pump chumps. But there's this thing where the whole goal for like female lions is they want to procreate. They want to like make the pride as big as possible for survival. And so there's this moment where she lets everybody hit it, and then they kind of know, they have like a rough idea whose baby it is, but they don't ever like actually acknowledge it. They like play this ignorance game, because if if all of your boys hit it and you know for sure that it's his baby, then everybody would kill it because it's not theirs. So they play this weird ignorance game where they just go, we don't know whose father it is, so let's all just raise it as opposed to kill it. I think your phone just shut off.
Yeah, that sounds like
So there's
that actually sounds hilarious. I didn't know that the lions did that.
So there's something to learn, like, and it's this evolution moment. It's this thing where it's like, what characteristic will make it so that we can thrive as a species? And this is a good time to bring this up too, because this whole like last man last woman thing, right? We all believe this idea, like whether you believe it's something you say to a guy at a bar, where you're just like, oh, I wouldn't fuck you if you're the last guy on earth, or if like you believe the Bible literally. We all believe this idea that like two people can repopulate the earth, but the math doesn't work. Like me and you, the last two people on earth, we have a baby. Now what do we do?
Right. Now what we do is, if the this is so fucking gross, dude, because it's like, I've been like, for me, I would never want to live in the fucking end of the world, man, ever in my entire life. Like, I want to die. If the zombie apocalypse happened tomorrow, I'm dead tomorrow. But like, if that's the thing, if I was the last man and the last female on earth, and I believed that we had to repopulate, if we had a girl, then the fucking husband, the dad, has to mate with
he
the
might
daughter.
have to fuck it, yeah, or you have to have another, you just have to keep having like children until you have a boy.
Most people are okay with that, like,
well, and this brings me,
they're gonna think that they're gonna be like, well, this is what we gotta do,
right?
You know?
And this is what brings me.
A bunch of mutants in the fucking world.
This is what brings. There you go. So now we've come full circle to this thing, because that's what brings me to the 23andMe, and this is why I believe in the opposites thing, and why I want us to all mix it up. Because when you're 100% Italian, that just means like loosely that all of your cousins fucked. Like it was like really close.
How in 2020 can you be 100% of anything? Like, right. That just makes
your cousins fucked. That's why we all have asthma. That's why like we're not making it as a people, and that we're getting killed by massive disease because we're all too close to the gene pool. We need to go fuck something different so that we can survive. That's the goal. That's what we need to get.
Why I don't fuck anyone the same race.
I messed this up, but that needs to be what comes out of the COVID thing. Is that like the whole reason this is happening, because we all fucked our cousins. Stop being racist. Go fuck the furthest thing from you.
Seriously, man, for real though, because that shit is like, I mean, like, obviously in royal families and like extremely rich families, they would do that because they always wanted to keep it in the family, like the Rothschilds for years and years and years.
Yeah.
In the beginning of their families.
I never studied.
The royal family in fucking Britain, and
I never studied all that shit. Like I'm just catching up on the Anne Boleyn shit and all that stuff. It just never interested me. As you grew up as an American.
It's like, it's shitty and weird anyway, man.
But but it's our history a little bit. But you grow up as an American and you go, well, that's what's important, is I know that. But yeah, there's all that stuff, and but that's always what it's been. It's like and it all comes from like, this one race is the most important. Let's keep it in our fucking family, and it's fucked. It's really
weird, dude. Like, no way, man. I think like white people are just so fucking weird, because that's like the only race that you hear that from. And you know, I've also like, I've had this conversation with people before where like I was talking to this man, and he was telling me how him and his cousins and his little brothers ran a train on this girl, and that they were all in the same room jerking off.
He's trying to impress you?
Fuck if I know. I think it's just telling me a story. If he was trying to impress did the wrong thing. But you know, like he's telling me that they're all like jerking off, like they're all family. They're all dudes who are cousins and brothers, blood related family, who are all standing around this one girl and they're jerking off and they're waiting their turn to go all nut in this bitch. And I told him that he was fucking disgusting for that. And he was like, that's what guys do. Like, that's what we boys, like, it don't matter if that's my cousin, that's my brother, like, we're guys, like, you know, we're not touching each other, we're just fucking this bitch and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, like, you are fucking gross, dude. Like, there is no reason why you, your cousins, and your little brothers should sit around all jerking off your dicks to one girl and then all nutting in the same pussy, like one after another. I'm sorry, but you guys might as well just fuck each other.
Right. I do like that. That's what I searched. You asked me earlier what I searched. That's what I searched. No, so I two sides to it. So like, number one, I never understood why certain cultures of people are okay with dating the same girl. Like for me, I've always been the kind of thing where it's like, and maybe this is the ego, maybe this is the thing, maybe this is a little bit of my possessive nature. It's like, if I date a girl and I find out that a buddy of mine tries to holler at her afterwards, like part of me is like, no, like go find your own, like go into the world and hunt your own.
The people out there, there's no reason why your homeboy should be.
Go hunt your own prey. Okay, don't like you created this relationship as a catalyst of like a little bit talking shit about me. Like that's how you got close to my ex. Don't do that. That's not good. But then there's the other part of me where if I was gonna have a threesome, I want my little brother to be on the other side of the girl. Do you know what I mean? So like I have both things. I have both things.
Like you would really have a threesome with you and your little brother and
yeah, I think it'd be fun. Your phone
okay, just but what if me and my sister fuck some dude? Like
I'm totally fine with that. Send me the OnlyFans link. Hold on, your phone died. Your phone died.
No, like why is that so weird to me, but it's not weird to other people? Maybe
I don't know.
Shaming, but I don't know. Like I just don't want to fuck someone with my sibling.
The gap with I don't know that I
don't.
Are
you gonna high five your brother? Like
maybe I don't know the allure. Maybe I would fuck somebody with my father if he wasn't committed to my mother since he was 16 years old. I don't know.
I've just seen a whole thing where this family YouTubers, this dude and his dad. And I don't remember if it was his homeboys, but this dude and his dad for sure like raped these two girls to where like they left blood on the bed and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, bro, like not like I couldn't imagine just fucking someone with your dad, but let alone like raping a female with him. Like what kind of families are out there? And it's all white people.
Because it is the morality thing gets passed down. Hold on, your phone has died again, or shut off.
You know what I think it is I think it's the 4K.
So run the rest 1080 if you got to, because at this point, if they've stayed this long with us, they're loyal anyway.
Actually, I think that last one was 1080. Oh, schmucks. Let me see.
Or just run it at this point, just handheld it, and let's do the last 10 minutes that way.
Okay.
Just to not interrupt the flow that we've created.
Oh wow, that whole last part like didn't even go through because I for some reason I think that recording it in 4K took like
maxed you out.
My phone, yeah, which is weird though because it shouldn't do that, but
yeah. Well, I got plenty of complaints for what these products do when they're not supposed to do, but I dig.
I'll just switch this up. And I'll move you in front of the light now.
I dig it. That's why, that's why I always run, like, I'll run 2 recorders, I'll run 3 cameras, all the things, always, so that.
Yeah, well, that first one that I recorded for 55 minutes. So
oh, perfect.
You'll have a 55-minute of that, and then you can just, I guess, use this.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. All right, so I like where we're at, but we're like an hour in. We might be a lot more than an hour in, but it's a really fun talking.
Let me see how long we've been in here for.
Yeah. We've been in the Zoom an hour and 47 minutes, but I think we didn't start for 40 minutes or so. So yeah, so we're in there.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. All right. Well, now you can just record this. I'm gonna start uploading that video for you.
Appreciate it. All right, well, let's do this. So let's plug you real quick, and then let's come up with what we want to do. So I really like that you played my game yesterday, my shenanigans game, and I like that you chose 2 Chainz and Big Sean. So what I actually want to do is I want to do a live.
I sucked at all those games yesterday, dude. Can I tell you? Okay, so when you sent out that email and you were doing the Marry, Bang, and Kill, and it said no one problematic, and I thought that Hitler and Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein were the examples that you were giving.
Don't use.
Yes.
So this happened before. So
I was not prepared for that answer.
Totally.
And I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like, I don't fucking know shit about Osama bin Laden.
You're not supposed to have too much information about any of those people.
Like, I don't.
want-
I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, what am I gonna say right now? All I know is that I would for sure kill Hitler.
So here's the thing. I don't want to be playing that game and I go here. Okay, ready? Marry, bang, kill Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, Adolf Hitler, and then have somebody on the other be like, I spent like 3.5 hours Googling Hitler, and here's the deal. Like, no, I don't want that to be
not that bad.
like, I want it to be like just right off the top. It's a Marry, bang, kill. It's so low stakes. No.
Yeah, so I was not prepared for that, and I was like, okay, well, I definitely don't know. I don't know, man. Like, Osama bin Laden's the one that did 9/11, right?
Yes.
Okay, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to be wrong. And Saddam Hussein was the president, right?
No, different country.
But a different country, but he was the president of something, right?
Yeah,
okay. So either way, they were both bad, right?
Everybody was bad. It was Hitler, Osama bin Laden, and Saddam Hussein. It's all the people that the United States claims in some way or another, indirectly or directly, we've murdered, and we high five each other about it. Wait, just real quick, because nobody knows what we're talking about. I have a Comedy's Best Kept Secret tour Zoom every Friday. 4 of them. I had Sheena on yesterday. And we did a Marry, Bang, Kill, and that had those people in it. But then also we did this game called Shenanigans, or Lyrics or Shenanigans, and we played it with who did we use yesterday? I used Cardi B yesterday, and you brought up Big Sean and 2 Chainz. So what I want to do for our bonus features is we'll do a Big Sean one, and we'll have to do the research right on the spot and write our own lyrics right there and do it for each other right then. That's what I want to do for the bonus features. So check out our bonus features. Okay, so real quick, how do we find you on the internet? How do we find you? How do we follow you? How do we pay for your porn? Please pay for your porn.
Oh, you're so sweet. The best way to find me is the easiest thing. You can just go to xxxsheenarose.com, and I have links to everything that is there. So like my OnlyFans, my ManyViz, my Twitter, my everything, my webcam link, all that. So just go to xxxsheenarose.com, and then just find whatever you want there.
Got him. So this was a virtual thing. We did it on Zoom. There are some complications to every Zoom possibility, to every live stream show when we're not doing it here and there. So we apologize wherever you listened, watched us, if anything didn't go exactly your way. We're on Google Play. We're on iTunes. We're on all the places that podcasts are. We got some content today on YouTube. Check that out, and check out our bonus feature, which is going to be called Big Sean or Shenanigans. Dan Frigolette versus Sheena Rose. But we drop a new episode every Monday. And thank you to my guest, Sheena, for being here.
I want to start a podcast. I really do. And if I can zoom in host, that would be great. Because like I have this blog called thoughtofathought.com where I write out like sexual fantasies, and they're like little stories. And I have a podcast section on it called Thought of a Thought, where I want to have thoughts with other thoughts. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like what up?
Here's my advice. Here's my podcast advice. You're never going to get out of another guest what you anticipate their level of commitment or concern will be, right? They're never going to care about your podcast as much as you do. So if you can come up with a version of a podcast where you don't need to have a guest, that would be incredible.
Oh yeah. So I was thinking as well, like if I didn't need a guest, or if I didn't have a guest, like let's say like I couldn't, or a girl canceled on me or something and I couldn't get a guest, have you ever listened to the Vivid radio station on Sirius XM?
No, but there are plenty of one-man show, like Bill Burr does his own podcast. He does his own rants. Like there's plenty of these type of shows that are total. It works. You've already cultivated a fan base. You're right. You're right there. So if you did your own podcast, you're right there and you're fine.
I want to like have another, like if I couldn't get a girl or something, like have a dude call in, and then like he can give me like a fantasy and I can get him off like on air, you know? Like,
that would be cool.
Yeah, because that's like kind of what they do on Vivid. They have like dudes call in and then they'll be like, oh, I love cum denial. And then like a girl just be like, oh, you stroking your cock, you're not allowed to cum to that. And then like within the next couple minutes, like get them off on air. And I think that would be cool and fun to add to it. But the thing is I just need to figure out how to fucking do it.
No,
like,
you have the tools. You have the tools. Stop convincing yourself you don't know how to do it.
I just need to get a microphone and like a sound recorder.
So you can go either way. You honestly, at this point, if you want to go as cheap as possible, just to see if you just proof of concept, get a mic that plugs into your MacBook, do it there, do it on Audacity or whatever program you use to do editing has a like I use Premiere and Adobe has an audio editing program. Whatever thing you're already using has an associated feature that you're probably not paying for.
Or can they only hear me?
There's GarageBand. There's all the things.
Yeah, I'm going to show you what I have. But can they hear me or no? Odyssey, Podcast Studio, and GarageBand. The people that are listening to this podcast, can they see me or they can only see me on YouTube?
They can see you just on YouTube and they can hear you everywhere. They hear you everywhere and see you and hear you when they can see you.
Oh, okay. So right now what we're doing when it's on Apple and stuff, they can only hear me. They can't see.
Yes. Yeah. So they have no idea how much you've relaxed.
Yeah.
like a minute and a half ago, I thought you were going to start a webcam show. I was like, I don't know what this is. All right,
yeah.
let's end the episode. And then let's do the Big Sean thing because I'm really excited about this. But this is the Pornstars People Podcast. Thank you for being here. Follow her on the internet, pay for her porn, all the things. Dan Frigolette. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Have a great day.